Hello and welcome to a very wet and windy Thruxton, the fastest circuit in the UK. This week plays host to the British Truck Racing Championships. It's going to get absolutely wet and wild out on the track this weekend, and we cannot wait to watch our drivers in action. I spoke to a few of them ahead of the first race. So Luke, a very warm welcome to a very wet Thruxton. It's pretty wet out here, as we can see. How did you find practice that we've just had? It's a touch windy and a touch rainy.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've been to Thruxton whilst it's been weather like this. To be fair, usually we come here in the summer, so it's a lot better weather. But yeah, I enjoy this sort of conditions. So hopefully results reflect on that.
Yeah, I've raced at Thruxton since 1998. I don't think I've ever missed a year. So my maths isn't that great this time in the morning. 22 years or 23 years. We love racing at Thruxton. Normally it's barbecue weather, but definitely not this weekend. I was just thinking back to about 2007 was the last time it really rained here, and Matt Summerfield and I still talk about it, you know, side by side on the lock stops through Church Speedway styley, and I think that's one of those sort of defining moments in my whole career, really. It's a great place to race.
It was interesting. I think it's a few years since I've actually been at Thruxton in the wet, and it certainly keeps you on your toes. The actual circuit is good. It's just where there's running water, and you can go up in mid-corner in the apex, and then there's a stream of water. So it was all right. Went all right.
Definitely experience shines through. Obviously, the newer drivers struggle a bit more in these conditions, but obviously they haven't done so much racing. But yeah, it definitely shows sorts out the men from the boys. As I think that's the phrase they use. But yeah, I've always done well in the wet. I'm back from my karting days. Obviously, outdoor karting in the rain, pretty much on slicks. Is sort of it's reflected on my truck racing.
And in terms of, you came from a karting background, what's the difference between going from a vehicle that size to one this size in the wet? Is it harder or easier to control?
It's nice to be dry inside. Obviously, where karting you get completely drenched, but yeah, it's a lot of difference. I mean, they're a very similar type of vehicle as in respect of the diffs are locked on these as well as they are on karts. So it's definitely the same sort of driving. Obviously, just a lot less power in the karts.
Yeah, I guess the aquaplaning comes at a later stage in a truck than it does in the car, because you've got more weight, you've got more pressure pushing the thing down on the road. But then you've got more momentum and more weight, and if you do lose control of it and you do get in an aquaplaning situation, you really are a passenger. So, you've got to be smart in these conditions, and you've got to be a bit lucky as well.
And lastly, Stuart, I just want you, if you wouldn't mind, just to sort of guide us through the setup you've got yourself here, because I think it's safe to say this isn't your average truck. What are you looking at here when you're racing?
Well, starting from the left side here, that's basically just a simple rear view camera. There's a camera, perched up on the top of the back of the cab, gives me a view to the rear, because in these conditions your mirrors are, they're just a waste of time. You can't see anything. There's that much spray and water. So that's your rear view. This is the boost gauge, which tells so the boost pressure of compressed air coming from the turbocharger going into the engine. So the higher you can get that, the more power you can get out the engine. And then the main screen, this has all the brake temperatures for each wheel. It has your GPS speed, your actual speed, your lap times, your RPM, engine RPM. So all the data you need and more is on that screen. And then the bank of switches is your usual lights, wipers, horn, which you would have in a conventional truck. Even indicators over there, and then 4 buttons on the steering wheel as well. Just add to it for various.
Fair amount to think about then, is that?
So there's plenty to think about as well as trying to get around the corner. So yeah, you've
in the wet with 10 other trucks behind you.
Exactly, that's right. Hopefully behind us, yeah.
We just need a solid race performance this weekend, solid points haul. There's no good worrying about the championship. Yeah, at this point in time, we're 10 races away from the end of the championship. You could either say we're 1 week away, which puts you under pressure, or you could actually look at it at we're only 50% of the way through the season because of the way the season is. So, yeah, we're remaining very optimistic, positive, pragmatic, and mainly grounded. 2 feet firmly on the floor. Let's see what happens.
Well, that leads us nicely into the championship leaderboard as it stood before the start of the meet at Thruxton. 15 points for the race win, remember, with second getting 14 and so on, but the bonus point for the fastest lap could come into play with the standings as tight as they are, all to play for in Division 1. Barring any drama, Stephen Powell should claim the Division 2 title, with Lou Garrett's eventful start at Snetterton ultimately giving him too much ground to make up. As we've seen though with the trucks, anything can happen. So a certain sense of anticipation starts to build then. Race 1 is next. We go to your commentator, Dave Goddard.
Well, good to hear from Stuart Oliver there, talking us through some of the workings of a race truck. He lines up third on the grid for the first race of the weekend for the BTRA Truck Racing Championship. In pole position, it is Stuart Oliver's teammate, number 11, Martin Gibson, taking his first ever pole position in UK truck racing with a lap right at the end of the session, a 146.411. Alongside him, number 69, David Jenkins, who we also heard from there. OK, we start to form up then. Time to go big rig racing here at Thruxton. Martin Gibson in the black and yellow MAM on pole, the black and white version of David Jenkins alongside him. Then we've got Stuart Oliver in the black bonneted Volvo there. Alongside him, the yellow truck of Ricky Collett. Was quickest in free practice first thing this morning in much worse conditions than this. The third row, it is John Newell alongside Mark Taylor. Then we've got Ryan Smith alongside Shane Brereton in the Bagheera Freightliner. Keep an eye on Ryan Smith from further down the grid. I'm sure he'll be fired up trying to come through. Joint championship leader coming into this with David Jenkins in Division 1. Division 2 led by Stephen Powell, 10 points ahead of Craig Reed in the red and white Iveco. Pace truck about to pull into the pit lane. It's time to go truck racing here at the Thruxton circuit in Hampshire. All the trucks that qualified, all 17 of them out there. Here we go then, the power comes on. And we're underway and racing here at Thruxton with truck race number 1, the first of 5 races this weekend. David Jenkins takes the early lead, sideways around the outside of Martin Gibson. Stuart Oliver's there on the inside in the number 7 as they head up towards the complex the first time. You can see the amount of spray these trucks are throwing up as they head into the complex. Somebody charging straight on at the inside, wallop straight into the side. Oh my goodness gracious me! That is a horrendous accident. That is Tom O'Rourke, I think, that's gone clean over the barriers up there. John Newell is the truck he's taken with him. The red flag's obviously coming out straight away. I've never seen anything like that. The race being stopped. Oh, and now Ricky Collett's lost it as the red flags come out, trying to slow the truck. He's going to go wallop straight in and straight over. Oh my goodness, what on earth is going on out there? 2 enormous accidents within seconds of each other. Ricky Collett on his side, and one truck over the barriers down at the complex. Oh, that's good to see. Ricky Collett's out of the truck. He gives us a wave. My goodness, he is very lucky indeed. Such a shame for Ricky. He qualified well. He was quickest in free practice. But the major incident is up at the complex. We've got one truck, Tom O'Rourke, over the barriers, along with John Newell in there. I've never seen anything like that here at Thruxton. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that everyone is okay.
The weekend underway then in the most dramatic of fashions. Here's another couple of looks at that awful crash up at the complex, including this on board from John Newell.
I was just a passenger, I didn't know. It just come from nowhere, put me into the barrier, then I seen Tom fly over the barrier then, and it was just wishing that it's all good and well.
And we're delighted to say that despite the dramatic footage here, all the drivers involved were okay, but unsurprisingly that would be the last we'd see of Tom and Ricky's trucks for the weekend. After extensive work by the marshals, the trucks would eventually get a race in as the light began to fade, and I caught up with Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver as they went through their final preparations in the assembly area.
Well, Ryan, we're excited to get going. Take 2 for the trucks this afternoon. How excited are you to finally get out there and get a race going?
Yeah, pretty much. The conditions have been pretty strange, to be fair. 1 minute it's really wet, 1 minute it's dry. 2 big accidents in the last race, and you know, I feel terrible for Ricky Collett and Tom O'Rourke. First of all, the most important thing is that they're healthy, and hopefully no one's injured, so that's the main thing. So we're going to go out now, we're going to have a little bit of fun. hopefully have some good action and see what we can bring home.
Does it feel important to sort of end the day on a high here?
Yeah, I think it needs it after the day we've had for everyone. I mean, Ricky's truck's a mess. Tom O'Rourke's, Shane Berriton's truck's a mess. John Newell, we're lucky, glad he's okay. So, you know, let's get everybody to the checkered flag and create some good racing along the way.
Oh, what happened earlier on today, you've just got to put out of your mind and, you know, sort of just concentrate on what's ahead, and then you know, thankfully everybody was all right from that previous race start, so that's the main thing. And because of that, you know, you've just got to look at it. It's racing. You know, what we do can be dangerous. You've got to accept that, and like I said, well, everybody's all right. So it's now focus on the next race and see what we can do with it.
And of course there's still a championship on the line. You're right at the front of that pack, battling for that. I know it's in the back of your mind, but are you trying to put that out of your mind in a way?
I'm more concerned about what Boris is going to say about brands next week. So, you know, we're in uncertain times. We're trying to do our part for what we can to keep everything as normal as possible. But, you know, we're just in it and we're in it together. And the atmosphere has been good here today. We'll see where it leads, but, you know, fingers crossed.
The pace truck will pull into the pit lane this time, and in the fading light here at Thruxton, 15 minutes of truck racing. Martin Gibson on pole, David Jenkins alongside him. Here we go then up towards the red lights. When they go out, we are ready to rumble with our first truck race of the weekend. The lights are out and here we go. The power comes on. Listen to the roar as they head up towards Allard for the first time. A much better start from Martin Gibson this time from pole position. Here they go up towards Allard and the complex for the first time. Let's just hope they all make it round this time. It is Martin Gibson who leads into the complex from David Jenkins, Stuart Oliver, Mark Taylor up there. Ryan Smith's already up alongside John Newell there. We'll keep an eye on the Division 2 leaders further back as well. Looks like Stephen Powell in the yellow truck has made the break at the front of Division 2. No, it's Luke Garrett who's got to the front there, I think, in his MAN. Yes, the green and silver truck there has got the lead. Craig Reed in third in Division 2. Then we've got Willem Bredick, the Flying Dutchman. But it's Martin Gibson who's held his lead. Here comes David Jenkins with an attack as they head out into the country for the first time. He's on the tail of Martin Gibson. Stuart Oliver up there, the 10 times champion. He's been European champion as well up there in third place in the bonneted Volvo VNL. And those three just breaking away very slightly from Mark Taylor in fourth place. John Newell in his repaired truck is in fifth place. Ryan Smith in sixth. Head round to complete the first lap then at Woodham Hill. Can Martin Gibson hold his lead? David Jenkins moves from the right to the left. Gibson will move to defend as they come into the chicane. Which side is David Jenkins going to go in the 69 truck? He almost locks up the brakes. Gibson holds the lead. See the steam pouring off the front wheels. That's from the water-cooled brakes that these trucks have. There's Taylor, Newell, Smith. Then it's Shane Brereton. Then the Division 2 trucks led by Luke Garrett. Willem Bredick chased by John Powell. There's Simon Cole in the pink Mercedes, running partnership with Team Hard, the touring car team. Paul McCumsky at the back in the 99. Over the line, it's Martin Gibson by half a second from David Jenkins. Here they come into the complex for the second time. Stuart Oliver shadowing the two leaders. It's Taylor. Ryan Smith has dropped behind Shane Brereton. I wonder if Ryan Smith's truck is not running at 100% after he's off in qualifying in the rain this morning. As he's dropped back from, well, he's dropped back from Shane Brereton. He's with the Division 2. Yeah, he's slowing down. Ryan Smith's slowing down. He's got a problem. So the championship, the joint championship leader with David Jenkins coming into this round is in trouble. Has he taken another knock in there somewhere, perhaps? So he's dropped away. Ryan Smith will be out of the race. There's John Newell. You can see a fair bit of bodywork missing from that truck. He was the truck that got clobbered by the out-of-control Tom O'Rourke in the first running of this race. Three leaders coming up towards Woodham Hill. It's still Martin Gibson in the GT tyres. Scania, fourth in the points coming into this round at the opening weekend of the season at Donington. He scored his maiden win in the championship. Yeah, you can see bodywork hanging off Ryan Smith's truck there. Looks like he's heading for the pits. It's Gibson from Jenkins in the battle of the MANs. Jenkins, a former British champion. Stuart Oliver, the most successful British truck racer of all, in third place. Then we've got Mark Taylor, a relative newcomer. He's turned from sponsor to driver over the last couple of years, the Taylor's haulage man. John Newell returned to truck racing a couple of years ago after many years away, challenging for 4th. Then we've got Shane Brereton. He started his career racing hot rods on the short ovals before moving to the pickup truck racing championship and then into truck racing. Been racing in the European Championship over the last few years, which sadly no longer visits the UK. Gibson from Jenkins. Then we've got Stuart Oliver, no change up front. This is good driving by Martin Gibson, looking for the second win of his career. Look at the blinding lights from those behind him. Wonderful atmosphere here at Thruxton as the light begins to fade. John Newell all over the back of Mark Taylor, and the battle is on for the lead in Division 2 as well, between the 42 and the 3. That's Luke Garrett and Stephen Powell. Steve Powell leading the points coming into this round. Luke Garrett's had a few problems with his MAN this year, so they're further back in the order. Craig Reed behind them in the Iveco. Shame his brother Simon isn't here this weekend with his Iveco. Three leaders have pulled away here from the battle between Taylor and Newell. There's Simon Cole. Think pink is his motto in the Mercedes-Benz. Great to see Simon back out. Great entertainer he is, as are all Team Hard drivers. Here they come into a chicane once again, coming up to complete lap number 3. David Jenkins with the fastest lap of the race at the moment, looking to try and make a move. There's Brereton in the Ollie Janes-owned suspension, flexing a little bit there on John Newell's MAN. Maybe a legacy of the damage from earlier on. There's Shane Brereton in the Ollie Janes-owned Briarwood-sponsored Bugera Freightliner Fat Fox. What a great name that is. There's Division 2 leaders. Garrett still ahead of Powell. Then it's Reed. And they're clear of their opposition. The Bugera Freightliner, incidentally, a Czech Republic-built truck, raced in the European Championship by the likes of Adam Lashko and Martin Koloc. Something a little bit different for the British Championship. Still Martin Gibson with the lead then, and the fastest lap that time through went to Stuart Oliver, 1:39.366. You can see he's closed up onto the tail of David Jenkins now. See the lap times there. Superb looking truck, that Volvo of Stuart Oliver. Scored a couple of wins with it at Snetterton last time out. Third in the points coming into this round. Only 3 points behind Smith and Jenkins, the two joint points leaders. Here come the leaders. Headlights ablaze in the gathering gloom here at Thruxton, and David Jenkins is having to defend here. I think Stuart Oliver is going to move into second place on the run into the chicane. They're swapping sides of the circuit there, and this has allowed Martin Gibson to pull away in his MAN. Real emerging talent is Martin, looking for the second win of his career and this 2020 season. Over the curbs they go. There's Ryan Smith. He is still circulating. Now he's trying to keep going, at least to get a few points on the board, with there only being a few Division 1 trucks out there. But also, for the second race, the grid is reversed. So that means if he keeps going and finishes, he'll get pole position for race 2. I think that's what Ryan's trying to do here. There goes the leaders. They're coming up to lap Ryan Smith shortly. He's trying to keep going just to get a few points and try to get pole position for the second race. There's Taylor and Newell. They've been caught up by the 22. And here are the Division 2 leaders now. Stephen Powell from Luke Garrett, and Craig Reed has dropped back in the Iveco Stralis there. It's the yellow MAN, the HGV Direct and Dines Recovery MAN, the yellow peril. Stephen Powell has the lead of the second division. It looks like we had a change of position now. I think Brereton's got ahead of John Newell. Further back in the order. David Jenkins defending vigorously from Stuart Oliver. That's allowed Martin Gibson to pull away. And yes, we have had a change for fifth. There's Shane Brereton. He's got to head into fifth position of John Newell. So Newell down to sixth. Well, Martin Gibson really is pulling away here. Mainly because David Jenkins is preoccupied with that number 7 of Stuart Oliver large in his mirrors. With Ryan Smith in trouble, David Jenkins will take the lead of the championship with second place here ahead of the remaining races this weekend. 3 scheduled for tomorrow. It might be 4 now though, of course, because one race being lost today with the earlier delays. So we may well see 4 truck races tomorrow. Over the line they go, just under 5 minutes to go. 2.2 seconds in it now for the lead between Gibson and Jenkins. Oliver's still got the fastest lap of the race from earlier on, a 1:39.366. Paddy Mack in the pits, the only retirement so far, so that means that Division 2 pole will go to Craig Evans if things stay as they are. Ryan Smith will take Division 1 pole as long as he keeps going for race 2 with the reverse grid format being used. Stuart Oliver still can't find a way past, there go the Division 2 leaders. Scored a glimpse there of Powell, has pulled a couple of truck lengths out ahead of Luke Garrett. Here comes your leader, Martin Gibson. There's the battle for second. Is Stuart Oliver going to be in position to make a move this time? He's never close enough under braking for the chicane. Jenkins is wise to him every time in the Digraph Transport Morris Lubricants MAN. The Oliver team trucks first and third through the chicane. Now well clear of their opposition, it's still Mark Taylor, number 81 in 4th place, and now Stuart Oliver's got a run on David Jenkins as they go up towards Allard. He could get the inside line away here, just touch the brakes on the way in. Again, David Jenkins gets around the outside, and we see Craig Reed is in the pits there. On the right of your picture, Craig Reed has pulled into the pits with the Iveco. I thought he had a problem, so it looks like he could be out of the race. That'll put him to the back of the grid along with Paddy Mack for race 2. And Jenkins did hold his place there around the outside line at Allard up into the complex. The second corner, the left-hander, incidentally there before the complex, has been named Green Corner in honour of Andy Green, the current holder of the world land speed record. And the battle for 4th, 3 trucks still together. Still Martin Gibson out for a Saturday evening drive in his MAN. Still Stuart Oliver can't do anything about David Jenkins in front of him here. There's Craig Evans, the leaders will soon be coming up to lap his MAN. Oliver tries again. Can he get past David Jenkins this time? Can he get him through Church Corner? No, he can't. Come up towards Woodham Hill this time, he's trying to slipstream him. This time Stuart Oliver moves to the inside again. Jenkins is wise to him, moves across, so Oliver goes back the other way. They can't get through the chicane side by side, that's impossible in a pair of trucks. Jenkins holds the line, holds that second place. 1:40 left on the clock, so I think it'll be last lap this time for race leader Martin Gibson. Yes, the last lap board is out. So last lap of the day here at Thruxton. This first day with the BARC truck racing weekend. Going up to lap Craig Evans' MAN. It's looking good for Martin Gibson for a second win of the season. And the second of his career, but more importantly for David Jenkins, with Ryan Smith struggling a long way back with problems. David Jenkins is going to take the lead of the championship at the end of today. Will it be for second or third though? Because here comes Oliver again. They're side by side on the run up towards Noble. It's going to be Martin Gibson to take the win, but who is second? Battle for second is what we need to focus on, Jenkins and Oliver. And we'll find the Division 2 battle as well as they come round to take the checkered flag. Martin Gibson trying to lap Craig Evans. Sparks flying from underneath Shane Brereton's truck. Something's fallen off there. And here's the second place fight coming up Woodham Hill now. Still Jenkins hanging on at the moment. It's going to be a win for Martin Gibson. Who is going to be second? Martin Gibson will come through the chicane for the final time. Are we going to see a lunge here from Stuart Oliver? No, Jenkins is wise to him again. Martin Gibson coming out of the chicane. He's going to take his second win of the season and of his career in the GT Tyres MAN. Stuart Oliver, his team boss, will try and take second place away. He's not quite going to catch Jenkins on the run to the line. Only 0.147 of a second in it as they cross the line. Gibson the winner, Jenkins second, Oliver takes third. There's Ryan Smith still struggling on in the battered and bruised number 1 truck. He'll at least get a finish. Taylor takes 4th ahead of the sparking truck of Shane Brereton. John Newell in his rebuilt truck takes 6th. And Division 2 is won by Stephen Powell to extend his points lead. Luke Garrett comes over in second place. Congratulations to number 11, Martin Gibson, driving the GT Tyres and Kelsa Truck Products sponsored MAN to victory, the man from Warwick.
Mine, a big congratulations, your second ever win on this series.
Yeah.
That one seemed to be relatively easy for you in the end.
I wouldn't say it was easy. I had a full soft setting, so I thought it was going to rain, so I was having to nurse it and not destroy the tyres. But yeah, it was quite clean. That's the good thing.
Yeah, the battle was raging behind you, and it just seemed to help you just be able to get that clear track in front of you.
That's what I hoped for, to be honest. I just saw them dropping back, and that's exactly what I needed, so it was spot on.
A really strange day for everyone, of course, today. Was it almost difficult to get your head straight ahead of this second race, given what happened at the start of the first?
No, I think it's a strange year, isn't it? So it's another thing to think about. So no, it's good. It was good actually, because in the wet I was struggling to get a good start, so it was a good restart, to be honest.
And in terms of tomorrow, we don't know if it's going to be 3, if it's going to be 4. Who knows this year, 4 years? But how excited to get back here tomorrow after just one race today and get going again?
Now, I'm really excited for tomorrow because I'll start in like 8th, I think. So there'll be a lot of action at the back, so it's going to be good fun.
Well, big congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you very much.
Dave, that was a heck of a race from yourself, second place, but you must feel pretty proud of the way you held off Stuart Oliver for, it felt like, the entire 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was difficult when I probably over-defended when I had the pace from him in the early laps, because I couldn't see properly out of the rear mirrors and it was just a mass of lights from behind. So I was worried when he was at that medium range distance behind. Once he was on my bumper, I thought I could deal with it then, but obviously you've got no chance of going forward from that point. So it was just about not making a mistake. But in reality, we didn't have enough raw pace in the start of the race. Well, I followed Marty around for 2 laps, like right on his bumper, and then he just went away from me. So we need to look at what we didn't quite get right for the setup then. Obviously Stuart and Martin are close, but I think the main fight was with Ryan, but there you go, Ryan's just had a poor result there. But the way that the format works now with the reverse grid, Ryan will have overnight thinking to do. He'll be away off the front tomorrow, we'll be tripping over each other. Watch this space.
Well, a crazy end to a crazy day at Thruxton. We've only seen one complete race, and what a race it was in the end. Finished in, as you can see, near total darkness. It really did sum up what's been such an eventful first day of the weekend here at Thruxton. Stay tuned, the start of day 2 is coming up next. Well, a very warm welcome back. The weather has not improved the morning after the night before here at Thruxton. It's still wet, it's still windy, but we are still going here at the British Truck Racing Championships. These are the trophies that are on offer for all of the winners today, and we're going to get straight into it. Race number 3 is on its way next, but before we get to that, we spoke to some of our drivers. Well, good morning, Ricky. It's good to see you. Good to see you standing. It can't quite say the same about your truck, of course. It's attached to the tow behind you. Great to see you alive and kicking, mate. Let's talk about yesterday. It was a wild one, that first race, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the third of a lap was, yeah. Yeah, the truck were going really well. I really fancied my chances. I got into second place and just got going around, lost end a bit onto the grass, and once we were on the grass, you're just a passenger. I thought I'd collected it, but unfortunately not. Speared me straight across the track and into the barrier. Well, obviously it's been a bit curtailed and a bit more difficult with the lack of spectators and such like, but yeah, the race has been as good as ever. But I'm really upset for the lads, really, because we'd worked really hard to get the truck set and we'd finally got it perfect. And now start again, unfortunately. 5 months to do it, haven't we? Plenty of time.
Ready for season 2021. Well, most importantly, Ricky, glad to see you're up on your feet, mates, and best luck for next season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
I enjoyed that yesterday. You know, we didn't want to take too many risks, too many chances, because we didn't want to repeat of what happened earlier in the day. So just sort of stuck in there, and credit to Dave, he drove well. Martin obviously was away and driving tremendous as well. But I was keeping the pressure on Dave, hoping that he would make a mistake, but he didn't. So we managed to get third, which is good enough.
We had a great day yesterday, really solid qualifying, solid race. We are just going to take it race by race today and do the very best we can.
Really looking forward to it. I love the reverse grid setup. it just mixes it up and means we've got a bit of a fight ahead of us, which is what we come here for. So it should be good.
Firstly, no mistakes, and secondly, a bit of good luck. You know, we've got the speed, we can do the job, but we just need to pull it all together all at the same time today.
The biggest challenge today will be visibility. Obviously at the front yesterday there's no issue. It's just going to be a wall of spray, so driving a bit blind, I think.
Keeps it exciting though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of course, it will go to the final round at Brands Hatch, but the drivers as yet don't know if the next week's meeting at Brands Hatch is going to take place with the restrictions coming into force. So it will be all out here at Thruxton just in case. This will be a 20-minute race. 2 divisions, one behind the other. Division 1 at the front, the more powerful, quicker race trucks. If Ryan Smith's truck runs without a problem, he'll be the favourite here. Great to have Shane Brereton back at the wheel of the bonneted Bagheera Freightliner, the truck normally raced by Ollie Janes. He's there on the second row alongside Mark Taylor, Stuart Oliver and David Jenkins back on row 3. A quiet race for Jenkins yesterday. Here we go then, ready for the red lights to go out. The pace truck pulls into the pit lane. This is going to be a good one. Martin Gibson, yesterday's winner, back in 7th on the grid. Stephen Powell took the win in Division 2 yesterday, defeating his championship rival Luke Garrett. They go up towards the red lights, and we are underway with the second truck race of the weekend here at the Thruxton circuit. Paul McCumsky drops back there in the 99 Volvo at the back of the field, but it is Ryan Smith who has got the lead ahead of the number 18 of John Newell. Mark Taylor up in the third, Shane Brereton a bit sideways there in the Bagheera Freightliner number 22. Now let's hope they all get round the complex okay this time. Into the right at Campbell, the left at Cobb, the right at Seagrave. It is Ryan Smith, the man from Nottinghamshire, who's got the lead a little bit sideways on the exit. It is still very slippery indeed out there. They'll all be being a bit more careful this time after the incidents yesterday. Good start by Mark Taylor. He's up into third place there in the number 81 truck. Stephen Powell sideways in the yellow truck there. We've got trucks off at the back. I think that's John Powell, possibly number 6, and Paddy Mack. Paul McCumsky was the other one. So more problems at the complex there. But thankfully staying the right side of the barriers this time. Stuart Oliver ahead there of David Jenkins in his bonneted Volvo VNL, the 10 times champion. There's Craig Reed enjoying his Division 1 debut. Here's the trucks that had the problem at the back. John Powell was involved, the number 6, Daff. Oh, John Powell went into the side of Craig Evans, and that took Willem Bradick round with them. So more problems at the complex, but thankfully not as major as yesterday. Some bodywork damage to Ryan Smith's truck. That was caused by an off in qualifying yesterday. Sliding their way through the chicane then for the first time. Martin Gibson in the GT Tyres MAN there. Hasn't made up any ground from his grid position so far. His second ever win. His second of the season yesterday. Division 2 led at the moment by Luke Garrett in the 42. So Garrett and Powell soon through to the front. Their Division 2 rivals rather self-destructed ahead of them at the complex. It's flying Ryan Smith out in front, leading John Newell by over 3 seconds at the end of that first lap. So he's clearing off into the distance as expected from that pole position. Going for yet another title here. John Newell in second place, then Mark Taylor, Shane Brereton attacking him as they come out of Seagrave, then Stuart Oliver, David Jenkins, Martin Gibson and Craig Reed at the back of that group in his brothers Ivico Stralis. Out of Noble towards Goodwood and the far end of the circuit up towards the treacherously quick Church corner, and through into third place there, the 22 of Shane Brereton. John Powell, I would imagine, is heading for the pits. Clouds of smoke from his DAF. He got collected, or rather collected Craig Evans at the complex. You can see the tyre rubbing against that damaged wheel arch as well. And John Powell in the number 6 DAF LF will be out of the race. Possibly Craig Evans out of the race as well after that collision at the complex on the first lap. But Ryan Smith leading by 6.5 seconds now over John Newell, who returned to racing a couple of years ago after many years away. And running wide there, David Jenkins loses out to Martin Gibson in their side-by-side battle. So Jenks, former champion, loses a place. But is it going to be yet another title for Ryan Smith this year? Meantime, the battle heads up Woodham Hill. Stuart Oliver ahead of his teammate Martin Gibson, the man from Warwick, holding off North Staffordshire's David Jenkins, who has a look on the inside going into the chicane. They'll never get through there side by side. There's contact. Get off, says Martin Gibson, and holds the place. Smith leads it over the line. 8.5 seconds up now. John Newell in second. It's still Shane Brereton in the Ollie Janes Briarwood truck in third. The battle is joined for fourth now because Mark Taylor's under fire from Stuart Oliver. These slippery conditions here at the Thruxton circuit. We've got still over 14 minutes of this race to go, the second of the weekend for the BTRA Truck Racing Championship. There's Mark Taylor staying ahead of Stuart Oliver. 10 British Championships and 1 European for Stuart over the years. The most successful British truck racers of all time. There goes the number 1 of Ryan Smith out front. Maybe he's trying to match Stuart Oliver's record. Great to see Shane Brereton back in the championship. He's been racing in the European Championship in the last few years. Former hot rod and pickup truck racer in the UK, Shane. Here's Stuart Oliver down the outside of Mark Taylor. Is that going to work, I wonder, on the exit of the chicane? He's side by side with him. You'll never get 2 trucks side by side through there. He goes over the curb. He goes through. Oh, there's contact and Oliver's going to be spun out. Round goes the Volvo. That was never going to work through there. You can't normally get 2 cars side by side through there. Never mind 2 trucks. And an angry Stuart Oliver spins the wheels as he rejoins in the Volvo. So what's that done to the race order? Taylor still 4th. Gibson up to 5th. Jenkins 6th. Now 7th overall is Luke Garrett. He's got ahead of Craig Reed, that means. Then it's Powell in the yellow MAN and Stuart Oliver. Powell's got ahead of Reed as well. I noticed there Craig Reed was delayed in all that schmozzle at the chicane. Meanwhile, David Jenkins alongside Martin Gibson now on the run up to the club chicane. They're monstering up behind Mark Taylor. I'll look at Gibson up the inside. Late on the brakes, he's going to take Taylor. Taylor's sent wide on the entry to the chicane. He goes through up into 4th place. Oh, Martin Gibson, the find of 2020. David Jenkins still stuck in there behind them, and Oliver's got ahead of the Division 2 scrap now. So that leaves them free to fight for the lead of the class. And a better exit from the chicane there for Stephen Powell. The yellow machine having a look on the inside. Can he get through as they come through towards Allard, the right-hander, then into green corner? No, Garrett still holds it there. They're still ahead of Craig Reed in the 89, just learning that truck. His own Iveco broke down yesterday. Martin Gibson up the inside through Seagrave. He goes through straight past Shane Brereton up into 3rd place. Martin Gibson is flying now. Can he catch our 2 leaders? Jenkins in 5th position. There's Stuart Oliver. There's the Division 2 lead scrap. Garrett against Powell. Stephen Powell looking to win what I think possibly is his first Division 2 title this year, if I remember rightly. David Jenkins goes through. I think Shane Brereton's got a problem. He's lost another place there to Jenkins. Taylor behind them down into 6th position. Look at John Newell sideways there. Shades of Kurt Göransson, the great Swedish truck racer. He always drove completely sideways in his bonneted Volvos. Former European champion, one of the great entertainers of truck racing in the 80s and early 90s. Craig Reed staying with the Division 2 fights, and there you can see the damage to Mark Taylor's cab. It's not slowing him down. There must have been some contact when he was battling with Stuart Oliver. The door's hanging off, look. Well, cools him down a bit, I suppose. Powell trying again to take Luke Garrett for the lead. He's going to try the outside slip run down the outside into the chicane. No, again, it doesn't work. Look at the state of Mark Taylor's truck there, the door hanging off. Is he going to be flagged in for that, I wonder? He might get the black and orange flag here, meaning mechanical problem, you need to pit. He's still going with his air-conditioned MAN. I'm not quite sure how that happened, whether it was complex or just structural issues. There's Powell up the inside at Allard there, and he's taken the lead in Division 2. Looks like we've had a change of lead. Stephen Powell has got ahead of Luke Garrett. Still David Jenkins can't get ahead of Martin Gibson. As we look back towards the Division 2 battle in a moment, we'll see them come through. Yes, Powell has done it. He's got ahead of Luke Garrett. There's Brereton. There's the battered and bruised Mark Taylor. This time Jenkins trying a run at Church. He's never going to get through there, is he? On the fastest part of the circuits. Now, has Jenkins got through into 3rd place? We'll pick that up next. John Newell there, still in 2nd place. And yes, Jenkins up the inside, coming through towards Church Corner. He has taken 3rd place. At long last, he's passed Martin Gibson. Stuart Oliver's trying to close them down as well. Jenkins now having to defend on the run into the club chicane. Martin Gibson trying to get the place back again on this damp and slippery Thruxton circuit. Still your leader is Ryan Smith. We've almost forgotten about him out in front. He's increased his lead to over 6.5 seconds over John Newell now. Smith heading for his first win of the weekend and his 4th of the season, this shortened season for the BTRA Truck Racing Championship. Stuart Oliver back up to 5th after his spin. Oh, and they're leaning on each other again. Luke Garrett nearly spins. Mark Taylor leaning on him there. Taylor is now behind Craig Reed and Stephen Powell, so Mark Taylor's dropping back, not surprisingly really. Not sure how he damaged the door there. We'll see again what happened. Oh, it was Stephen Powell who pushed Taylor wide into Luke Garrett. Now, has that damaged Powell's truck as well? What's got into these drivers this weekend? I've not seen it this destructive for a while. Powell still leads Division 2. There's Garrett there in what's left of Mark Taylor's truck. That door now very second-hand. And the other side, the truck's got a big chunk bitten out of it as well, where he hit Luke Garrett. Look at the state of that MAN. It's a rolling wreck. Well, there's Ryan Smith. We've almost forgotten about him. 1 minute just under left on the clock, so he's coming around to start his final lap of this 20-minute race. Taylor's Haulage sponsored MAN. He's heading for win number 4 of the season. Comfortably ahead of John Newell by over 7 seconds. Jenkins 3rd. It's pulled clear of Martin Gibson now. And the rest quite a way behind. In Division 2, Stephen Powell will wait and see. Subject to any damage from that collision with Mark Taylor, he's going to take the win here. So some 3 seconds clear of Luke Garrett now, further back in the order. Craig Reed is splitting them in the Division 1 Iveco. But Craig's first run in Division 1 this weekend. At short notice after his Division 2 truck broke down yesterday. There is flying Ryan Smith, heading for win number 4 of the season. Normally see him win the vast majority of races, but it's been much more open in Division 1 so far this season. Took the lead from pole position and was never headed in Division 1. Here he comes up to the straight for the final time, slides his way across the line. Look at that, the checkered flag goes out and Ryan Smith takes the win in our second truck race of the weekend here at Thruxton Circuit. Second place goes to John Newell, and closing in fast there at the end, David Jenkins for 3rd. Martin Gibson will take 4th. I think Mark Taylor may have... Has he lost that door completely now? Yes, I think he has. Present for the Marshals, at least. And Shane Brereton, meanwhile, has been caught by the Division 2 leader in his battered MAN. Here comes Steve Powell. He might take the Freightliner on the run to the line here. No, Brereton just stays ahead. Stephen Powell wins Division 2 ahead of Luke Garrett. And almost a lap behind, 3rd in Division 2, it will be Simon Cole. Another chaotic race here for the trucks at Thruxton. This circuit so well suited to them. Fast and open, plenty of overtaking opportunities. The 2 title favourites take victories, Ryan Smith and Stephen Powell.
Delighted with the first race of today. Bring on the second and let's see what we can do.
Was that a decision last night when you took that bit of damage in the last race, just to try and desperately just get it over the line so you're in front of this one?
We needed to get it over the line. We don't know if Brands Hatch is going to go ahead, and I don't think it'll be a championship with only 3 rounds. But if Brands Hatch goes ahead and it's a 4-round championship, we want to win it. So we're going to push until the end. But you know, we've had massive problems all year. But apart from that, there's bigger problems in the world at the minute, and you know, we're collectively work as one, keep moving forward, and hopefully things will turn out good for everyone.
Stephen, that was a crazy race. You're in front of your truck here. It's just about clinging onto its front. Talk us through it.
It was a good race. We had a good pace. We started from the back. Luke got away, but we was on him. One of the Division 1 boys, he had his door hanging off, was meant to come in the pits, come up the inside, then he decided to turn in the pits. But no, really happy. It was a great race to be on par with the Division 1 boys as well. Mixing it up with them was fantastic, but probably a little bit expensive, but great fun.
It's been that sort of a weekend, hasn't it? We've seen so much action in the 3 races that we've seen.
You just don't know what's going to happen next. You really, really don't. I mean, if Brands Hatch don't happen, it's quite a good finale, you know. So no, it's been great fun. Another 2 to go. So.
Well, the scars of battle evidence here on the truck of Martin Gibson. As if we weren't wetted up already, it's spraying all over. It really has been a real war out on the track here at Thruxton. It's been so entertaining, and it's going to continue when we come back. Well, welcome back down to the truck paddock here at Thruxton. We're almost ready to go with race number 2 of the action today. As you can see behind me, furious preparations down in the Mark Taylor garage in particular. We saw that door hanging off earlier on. They've managed to replace it. I'm going to go speak to Mark and find out exactly what's going down ahead of a big race 2 here at Thruxton. Talk us through race 1. It was all happening for you.
Yeah, it didn't go very well. We tried to have a straight race, but unfortunately it never goes how you want to. I had a bit of an incident yesterday, a bit of a nudge with John, and it wedged my door shut, and with a couple of taps today, unfortunately it come off. So lucky enough, Ricky's lent us one of his doors.
Yeah, well, we spoke to Ricky earlier. That yellow lorry of his, very, very familiar, and then we look behind you here, and all of a sudden it's welded onto your truck. Talk us through that process.
Well, seeing as Ricky don't need it no more, he might come out with me for day, hasn't he?
And in terms of this next race, of course, you managed to finish the last one, which was important because you're now on pole for race 2 today, which gives you a good chance to get out in front.
Yeah, it does. So hopefully we'll have a better race this time.
Trucks heading up to the grid then for the 3rd race of the weekend here at Thruxton for the BTRA Truck Racing Championship. It's number 81, Mark Taylor, who is handed pole by the reverse grid in his repaired MAN. It will be number 89, Craig Reed, who starts alongside him. 2nd row, 22 of Shane Brereton and number 7, Stuart Oliver. On the 3rd row, number 11, Martin Gibson, 69 of David Jenkins. 4th row will be at number 18, John Newell, and earlier winner number 1, Ryan Smith. Then we move on to the Division 2 trucks. On the 5th row, 50 of Willem Bredick and number 99, which is Paul McCumsky. 6th row, 41, Simon Cole and 42, Luke Garrett. On the 7th row, number 3, earlier winner Steve Powell, and then behind them the 2 non-finishers from earlier, number 10 Craig Evans and 6 of John Powell. Sky looking fairly clear at the moment here at the Thruxton circuit, but still very slippery out on track. 20 minutes of truck racing to come. Already positioning himself for lift-off is Craig Reed in the Iveco on the outside the front row. The red lights are on. Pace truck is in the pit lane, and here we go. Truck race number 3 of the weekend gets underway. Down towards Allard they go for the first time. Bit of a slow getaway there for Paul McCumsky. He drops back in the 99. Up towards Allard and Green they go. Then it's onto the complex. Who's going to be leading as they come into the complex for the first time? It is Mark Taylor who has made the break at the front in the 81. Several lengths clear already. Trying to get up the inside there. Shane Brereton for second. Oh, Taylor's lost it. Sideways. He's going onto the grass. That'll lose Mark Taylor lead. What a shame after he'd made such a good start. It's side by side for the lead. Craig Reed has come out in front in the Iveco ahead of Shane Brereton. Then it's David Jenkins leaning on Stuart Oliver. He's really leaning on him. Look at this, they're 3 wide out of Seagrave. Also on the grass is Willem Bredick in the Volvo. He's going to slide back across, try not to spin. No, he's held it. Right, we'll wait and see who's come out of that in 3rd place, but it is Craig Reed who leads ahead of Shane Brereton. Everybody else was trying to be 3rd there coming through the complex. It's Martin Gibson who's come through, and Ryan Smith's up to 4th from the back of the Division 1 grid. Then we have got David Jenkins. The truck that lost out in all of that was Stuart Oliver. Here's what happened to Mark Taylor. Just threw it through the complex sideways and off he went onto the outside of the circuit, and Craig Reed able to take the lead ahead of Shane Brereton. And the squabble is on for 3rd, and Reed sideways there coming out of Church Corner. You do not want to lose it there. It's a very high speed part of the circuit. It's Reed from Brereton, then everybody else line astern. Looks like possibly Luke Garrett has come through to lead Division 2. Here they come then into the chicane for the first time. Craig Reed leads it from Shane Brereton. Martin Gibson in 3rd place. Then we've got Ryan Smith, David Jenkins, John Newell, Mark Taylor behind them, and Stuart Oliver. We said he'd lost out in that first lap shuffle. He's at the back of Division 1. It's Garrett from Powell in Division 2. Simon Cole 3rd, Willem Bredick is 4th, then John Powell, Paul McCumsky, and finally Craig Evans. My goodness, what a frantic first lap, as we always see here at the Thruxton circuit. So it's Craig Reed out front then, looking for his maiden Division 1 victory. He's had a couple of wins in Division 2 in his Iveco. Bit of understeer there, and bumpers going in almost stock car style there. Martin Gibson hits the back of the 22 of Shane Brereton. David Jenkins ran wide in there as well. Gibson up the inside, but he's going to overshoot, I think, through Seagrave. No, he's held it together. That's good driving by Martin Gibson. He threw it up the inside there of Shane Brereton and takes second position. Now down to the business of trying to catch Reed. It's Gibson up to second, Brereton third, then Smith. Behind him, David Jenkins. Then we've got John Newell. Mark Taylor behind him, still ahead of Stuart Oliver. Garrett leads the Division 2 fight ahead of Steve Powell. Further back behind them is Simon Cole. So the order pretty much established already in the Division 2 field. A long way to go yet as Craig Reed again a bit sideways through Church Corner there. He's just getting used to this more powerful Iveco, having raced the Division 2 version for the last couple of years. Martin Gibson in second, now Ryan Smith on the attack in the number 1, trying to move up on the 22 of Shane Brereton for third place. Bit of bodywork comes off, I think that was off David Jenkins' truck there. As Smith up the inside into the chicane takes the place, and Jenkins follows him. Shane Brereton dropping back a couple of spots there at the chicane. John Newell now putting them under pressure in the number 18. Then it's Oliver, he's got ahead of Mark Taylor. Luke Garrett continues to lead the Division 2 field with the man from Kent, Steve Powell, chasing hard behind. This is great stuff so far. They're clear of Simon Cole and Willem Bredick, who are next in the order, but Martin Gibson is now hunting down race leader Craig Reed. He's almost caught him there at the complex. They swing their way through. Still third is Ryan Smith ahead of David Jenkins after that move at the chicane. Craig Reed just needs to hold his nerve here. They both run a bit wide through Seagrave. Out into the country they go once again. Less than a second in it for the lead as they cross the line. Stuart Oliver off onto the tail of John Newell. He's got ahead of Mark Taylor, who's dropped back after that spin. He made such a good start, Mark Taylor. It was such a disappointment for him. He just threw it sideways. I thought he was going to spin coming through the complex for the first time. Luckily nobody hit him. Martin Gibson all over the back of the 89 of Craig Reed now. Down towards Church Corner. It's long, very, very fast right-hander. And then turning back up Woodham Hill towards the paddock. Martin Gibson pulls out. He's going to try and make a move under braking for the chicane, I think. Smith and Jenkins just looking on behind. Here comes Martin Gibson in the GT Tyres MAN alongside the OK Trucks Iveco of Craig Reed. Gibson's got the inside line. He'll be later on the brakes than Division 1 MAN. He takes the lead from Craig Reed. So Martin Gibson, your new race leader, sliding over the curbs there. Ryan Smith will try and have a go at the Iveco now as well. A little bit sideways off the curb there, Craig Reed. David Jenkins closing up in the Digraph MAN as well. 1 second covers the 4 of them as they cross the line. Then behind it's Brereton, Newell, Oliver, Taylor. Garrett still leads Powell. This is terrific stuff. Less than a second between Brereton and Newell as well. But Martin Gibson, the cork is out of the bottle now and he's away. Ahead of Ryan Smith and David Jenkins. Craig Reed has dropped down to 4th. David Jenkins has got through as well. Still holding 5th is Brereton ahead of Newell and Stuart Oliver. Martin Gibson a bit sideways through Seagrave. He always does run wide there, and he gets, well, he's much wider this time, gets a wheel onto the grass. You don't want to do that with wet grass at the side of the circuit because that will send you spinning into the barriers. Stuart Oliver making a move on John Newell further back. See if he gets through there. The leaders coming out onto the back of the circuit on this murky Sunday here at Thruxton. David Jenkins trying to close in on Ryan Smith for second place. They've been big rivals on track over the last few years. Good friends off it though. And we see the quickest lap times in this race. So Ryan Smith with a 1:43.9, who's got the quickest lap in this second race of the day, the third of the weekend. He's trying to catch Martin Gibson. Took a few tenths out of him on that last lap. It was Stuart Oliver who got the fastest lap in the first race of the weekend. David Jenkins in the race we saw earlier today. There is an extra point available for the fastest lap, and every point is vital at this stage of the season.
Well, it brings to an end this section of the programme here from the British Truck Racing Championships. Don't go anywhere though, the action continues unabated when we come back.
Is it going to be this time that Ryan Smith makes his move into the chicane? They come out from the back of the circuit up towards Woodham Hill, and Gibson a little bit sideways there, you saw. He's lost a little bit of traction. This is Ryan Smith's opportunity, that slight loss of momentum for Martin Gibson. And he's in trouble here. He could lose the lead to Ryan Smith. He's got to try and move across on him here, going down towards the club chicane and keep his foot in for as long as he dares. But Smith is there on the inside. Who's going to be later on the brakes? This is going to be close. Smith can't get the inside line away, and Martin Gibson just about holds his lead. This is going to be a cracking race to the finish between the three MAN. Smith gets a better run off the chicane over the curve there. This is it for Ryan Smith. He needs to attack now. Here he comes up the inside as they go up towards Allard. They're side by side. Ryan Smith surely is going to take the lead away. Looks like he's done it as they go out of sight up towards Allard. Meantime, Stuart Oliver has caught the number 89 of Craig Reed for 4th place. And yes, Ryan Smith has done it at Allard. He's into the lead. Got the better exit from the chicane there. But now we'll watch to see if Ryan Smith can pull away from Martin Gibson. David Jenkins making it almost a 12-wheeled MAN, or 6-axled MAN, of course, I should say. At the front of the field, with trucks having these multiple wheel setups on their rear axles. Stuart Oliver, meanwhile, has caught Craig Reed. The Volvo looking to make a move here for 4th place. He pulls out on the exit of Seagrave, up towards the left at Noble, the right at Goodwood. Ryan Smith now has the lead in his battered and bruised MAN after that off in qualifying yesterday that brought out the red flags. He needed a tow back to the paddock, which means he qualified quite a way down the order. In race 1, the truck was still not running 100%, and he finished at the back of Division 1. Converted that into pole for race 2 and was able to take the win, and looking to take his 2nd win of the weekend here. Bit of bodywork flapping in the breeze, just the wheel arch coming loose there. Gibson still 2nd ahead of Jenkins. There's the Division 2 fight further back, and Luke Garrett still holding off Stephen Powell. 6 minutes of the race to go. Still Shane Brereton holding John Newell back. That's for 6th position. In the Division 2 fight, Stephen Powell trying to make a move down the outside. I don't think he's going to get through there, as Garrett runs him wide there. Good defensive work by Luke Garrett, determined not to let Stephen Powell go through and extend his points lead. Garrett wants a hat-trick of Division 2 titles this year. Over the line they go. The lead gap is 1.1 seconds for Smith ahead of Gibson. Jenkins just 0.3 of a second back on Martin Gibson. They're well clear of Oliver, who's got ahead of Craig Reed. It's Oliver and Reed for 4th place. Shane Brereton in 6th, holding back Newell and Taylor. 3 of them covered by 1.3 seconds over the line that time through. They've only got a second back to Luke Garrett as well. Up Woodham Hill they come towards the chicane. Just under 3 minutes of this race to go, so another couple of laps to go for Ryan Smith. David Jenkins still on the tail of Martin Gibson for 2nd place. Can he get through to take the runner-up placing and keep up his chase of Ryan Smith in the points? Ryan now back in the points lead after his win earlier on. It's going to be close at the top heading into Brands Hatch at this rate, or indeed in the final reckoning if the season should end today. Between Ryan Smith and David Jenkins. Stuart Oliver's not far behind them either. Martin Gibson will be up there too with form like this. The Division 2 leaders still hanging on to the coattails of the Division 1 boys. There's Brereton, Newell and Taylor, covered by just over a second, those 3. The lead gap has increased again. Smith's pulling away from Gibson at the rate of about half a second a lap. 2.1 seconds now his lead. It's another 0.3 back to Jenkins. That gap stabilising. Then further back, 11 seconds down on the top trio. Now it's Oliver from Reed by 3 seconds, and then the battle between Brereton, Newell and Taylor, covered by just over 1 second, with Garrett a further 0.3 back off the Division 1 trucks as he leads Stephen Powell by less than half a second. So it's all close in the midfield. There go the midfielders lapping the slowing Willem Bredig. I think he's got a problem with the Volvo. He may be just moving aside there to let the quicker runners through. It's the one retirement so far. Paddy Mack, Paul McCumsky in his Volvo, beset by problems this season. He missed the 2nd round at Snetterton. Electrical problems stymied him after one race at Donington. At least got some points on the board in the 2nd race this weekend. Ryan Smith coming through to start his final lap then. Over the curve at the chicane. It'll be about 50 seconds on the clock as he crosses the line. And he is looking good. He's pulling away now slightly from Martin Gibson, still with his mirrors full of David Jenkins. Into the complex for the last time. David Jenkins has got less than a lap now to make a move on Martin Gibson for second place. He's very evenly matched MANs. Here's a pair of evenly matched MANs as well, Garrett and Powell's. Chasing after the number 81 of Mark Taylor. His doors have stayed intact this time. Simon Cole still third in Division 2 ahead of John Powell and Craig Evans. I think we may have lost Willem Bredick at the back. I think he's pulled out of the race. Saw him slowing up earlier. But Ryan Smith on the back of the circuit for the final time, and he's heading for his second victory of the weekend. Coming up on John Powell in the number 6 DAF LF. There's Craig Evans as well, about to be lapped. He'll move aside, let the leader through. The number 10 and newcomer, his first full season in truck racing this year. Through go the leaders, and it's going to be a battle to the line for second place, but it's going to be a second win of the weekend for fly-in Ryan Smith in the number 1. Into the chicane for the last time. Is David Jenkins going to get through on Martin Gibson? No, he's not, I don't think, unless he can slipstream him on the run to the line. But Craig Evans is there as well. They're going to have to go over the curves to miss him. Ryan Smith up towards the line to take his second win in a row. Martin Gibson will hang on. No way through there for Jenkins. Gibson is second, Jenkins third. They're well clear of Stuart Oliver, who will take fourth ahead of Craig Reed. And here's the battle for sixth, heading for the line. Who is it going to be for sixth? Will Shane Brereton and the Bagheera Freightliner hang on ahead of John Newell and Mark Taylor? Stuart Oliver has taken fourth place in his Volvo. Craig Reed a fine fifth place, his Division 1 debut today, of course. Division 2 battle just behind them as well. Can Stephen Powell get through on the run to the line? Luke Garrett's a little sideways off the chicane in the Aspect Wheels MAN. Up towards the line, Garrett's going to hang on. He beats Stephen Powell to the line. Powell right up against the pit wall there. Ahead of them, Brereton did hold on for sixth ahead of Newell and Taylor. Well, certainly a very exciting race indeed there from the trucks. They've got one more to go here at Thruxton. Let's hope it's not their last race of the season.
Flying Ryan Smith, our winner once again. It's almost if you can sense it's nearly the end of the championship. You've come into a different gear today.
I worked for that one, I really did. I was cautious at the beginning to get used to the track conditions, played it nice and just picked my way, touched no trucks, you know, confidently went through them. You know, I really hope that this Brands Hatch, because at Brands Hatch we've had so much unreliability this year, and you know, that's what we can do, what we do every race, but we've had some blips and we've had some mistakes. Fair play to the competition. Martin raced fairly. I've shown him room where we need to show him. You know, it was fantastic. We've really enjoyed that, to be fair.
Tough first few corners. Obviously Ryan did a great job to battle his way past Martin. You know, ultimately that led to getting the fastest lap. Those might just be the 2 points he's going to need later on this afternoon. So yeah, that could have just been a championship decider. Let's see. But great racing. I thought Ryan was dead fair with Martin. He was engaged once or twice, and it was only going to end up in a mess. And Ryan had to get out of it. And obviously I was breathing down his neck. And yeah, it was a good race.
I've actually enjoyed it, to be fair. I think when we spoke at the beginning of the weekend, I said that I enjoy the wet races. So yeah, I mean, obviously from the footage, and it's quite a level playing field even between Division 1s and Division 2s. So in the last race, me and Steve were pushing the Division 1s, which is obviously great for us because we're on a lot smaller budget. So it's great to be up with the bigger trucks.
It must be so intense to be a part of that.
Yeah, intense is a good word for it probably today. Yeah, no, it's good, but the pressure will be starting to mount now, ready for this last race. There'll be a pressure point here at some point, that's for sure.
Heading into the final race then, it was all up for grabs, and with drivers not knowing if the Brands Hatch meet would go ahead, they had to leave everything on the track. Dave Jenkins led by a solitary point ahead of Ryan Smith and started a row ahead of him on the grid. It was all to play for. Stuart Oliver had probably left himself a little bit too much to do to salvage first place from this weekend at least.
Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time here at Thruxton. We are go, go, go! It's over to your commentator, Dave Goddard.
It's Mark Taylor who has got the lead ahead of Brereton. Then it's Newell, then Stuart Oliver in the number 7. In Division 2, looks like Stephen Powell has made the best getaway into the complex. Mark Taylor looking to keep it on the straight and narrow this time. Yes, he's done so, so he'll hold the lead in the number 81. Brereton is second, Oliver up to third. John Newell, not the best of starts, he's down to fourth in the number 18. As they start to sort themselves out then, Stephen Powell is leading Division 2, I think, on the tail of Craig Reed there. Martin Gibson getting caught on the outside in the number 11. It's Taylor from Brereton. Then it's Oliver in third. Newell is fourth. Ryan Smith has not yet been able to start to make his way through. He's behind David Jenkins there. Jenkins fifth, Smith sixth, seventh is Gibson eighth. It is Craig Reed, not the best of starts for the Iveco either. Stephen Powell's already got the lead of Division 2 though. That is crucial ahead of Luke Garrett's in terms of the championship. Out the back of the circuit for the first time, then up towards Woodham Hill. Mark Taylor in truck number 81, looking for his second win of the season. We've had so many different winners in Division 1 this year. I make it 7 different trucks that have taken the checkered flag in third place. Down towards the club chicane for the first time. David Jenkins up the inside trying to take John Newell for fourth position. There's been a change for second as well. Stuart Oliver has taken second in the battle of the bonneted trucks. Newell gets shuffled back another place. He'll now be in the clutches of Ryan Smith. Stephen Powell continues to lead Division 2 ahead of Luke Garrett. Over the line they come then. Stuart Oliver now up into second place behind Mark Taylor. Looking for win number 3 of the season, Stuart Oliver. 4/10 of a second between them as they cross the line. Brereton down to third. It's Jenkins, Newell and Smith. Martin Gibson, Craig Reed. Powell leads by just over half a second ahead of Luke Garrett in Division 2. John Powell is third in that group, ahead of Cole Bradick and Craig Evans. 14 seconds covered the field as they cross the line for the first time. Stuart Oliver is all over the back of Mark Taylor for the lead. He's having a look on the inside as they go up towards Noble. Is he going to get through there? The next corner's a slight left-hander, so he may be caught on the outside line. We'll wait and see who comes out with the lead here. Oliver all the way around the outside. If anyone can do this, Stuart Oliver can. And he's going to take the lead as they go into Goodwood. Yes, he's done it. Stuart Oliver takes the lead in the number 7 truck, and now Brereton trying to follow him in the Ollie Jane's own Bagheera freight line. 69 of Dave Jenkins up there in fourth. Then it is, looks like Ryan Smith has got through into fifth. He has indeed ahead of John Newell. It's not quite going to be bonneted trucks 1 and 2 because Mark Taylor has held that second place. Look at them, line astern. This is brilliant stuff. Pulling out there David Jenkins to try to take third, and Ryan Smith tries to take him in turn. They're almost on the grass there. Ryan Smith is on the grass. Goodness me, he was lucky not to spin there as they both tried to take Shane Brereton at the same time. Behind Martin Gibson trying to move up on John Newell. Goodness me, this is like the M25 on a bad day. Stuart Oliver from Mark Taylor, Brereton, Jenkins. Smith clips the back of his great rival Dave Jenkins there coming through the chicane. Then it's Martin Gibson. He's got ahead and Ryan Smith. His door's opening. He's been watching Mark Taylor. Gibson is next. Then it's John Newell. Then Craig Reed in the clutches of the Division 2 battle, which is Powell ahead of Garrett. Less than 6 seconds, covering 10 trucks as they cross the line. This is terrific stuff. Certainly the best race we've had this weekend. There's the 10th one, that's Garrett. Further back, John Powell still third in Division 2. Oh, look at this at the complex for second place. Stuart Oliver's trying to get away. Mark Taylor is the cork here with everybody else bottled up behind him. They can't get through at the complex there. Brereton's the first to have a go. Then it's Jenkins, Smith, Gibson, Newell, Reed, Powell and Garrett. This is terrific. Line astern racing here at Thruxton. If any one of them makes a mistake, there's going to be a dramatic change. Stuart Oliver, as a result of this, is being able to pull away. He's saying, well, if you're all going to squabble it out behind me, I'm going to start to pull away. Brereton a bit wide there. David Jenkins up the inside. Oh, this is going to be close as they go through towards Church. Jenkins has got the inside there. He could take third place away. Ryan Smith says, I'll have some of this as well. Well, we say they're battling like touring cars. It's worth remembering that in the mid-2000s, Stuart Oliver did do a season in British touring cars at the wheel of a Lexus IS200, if I remember rightly. Sadly, he was rarely involved in the battles at the sharp end. Shane Brereton has been shuffled back well and truly there. He's lost out to Jenkins. He's lost out to Smith up at Church. Jenkins squeezed him wide. And Martin Gibson could take the 22 as well here into the chicane. No, Brereton moves to cover the inside. So it's now Jenkins third. Smith with the door open in fourth place. Shut that door. Brereton is next, then Gibson, Newell, Reed. And here's the Division 2 battle. Steve Powell still ahead of Luke Garrett's. Over the line they go. What's covering these 10 trucks this time through? They're covered by less than 7.5 seconds. That's only because Stuart Oliver's pulled out a lead of 3.4 seconds, so in reality there's only 4 seconds covering 9 trucks. This is incredible stuff. The driver's absolutely loving this, and so are the fans. Mark Taylor a little bit wide at the complex there. Oh, and David Jenkins contact with Martin Gibson. Now, I don't know whether there was contact between Smith and Jenkins just before that, but it's taken Gibson wide onto the dirt there on the outside. So it's now Smith up to third and attacking Taylor for second place. Then it's Brereton fourth. John Newell's come up into fifth. So, as I said, if anybody made a mistake in there, there'd be a dramatic change in the order. I don't know whether there was contact there going into the complex between Smith and Jenkins, but Jenkins ran wide, and he certainly took Martin Gibson with him. Gibson's back behind Stephen Powell now. David Jenkins looking angry there, sideways. Look at that through Church, sliding the truck around. He's got Craig Reed behind him. Now, can David Jenkins recover from there? That will be a blow to his championship chances if he can't. Stuart Oliver still leads from... Is that Smith up into second place? Yes, he's got ahead of Mark Taylor now. There we see it. Brereton fourth. Fifth is Newell. Sixth Jenkins. Stephen Powell... No, Craig Reed, sorry, is 7th overall. Stephen Powell is 8th and leading Division 2. Martin Gibson 9th, and it's Luke Garrett 10th. Okay, pause for breath. Stephen Powell a little bit sideways there, coming into the chicane under fire from Martin Gibson. He's under no obligation to let a Division 1 truck past, of course. They can race each other, the two divisions, together. Oliver leads by 4.2 seconds ahead of Ryan Smith now. It's up to Smith to try and close him down. Taylor is third, ahead of Brereton. Then we've got Newell, Jenkins, Reed, Gibson. Gibson has got back ahead of Steve Powell. Through the complex, 12.5 minutes still of this frantic race to go. John Newell on the inside there, battling with David Jenkins, who runs wide at the complex again. This is great stuff from the BTRA Truck Racing Championship. Two Division 2 battlers have once again pulled away from John Powell, who's third in that class. A second behind him we've got Simon Cole. Willem Bredick and Craig Evans at the back of the field. The door's still open on Ryan Smith's MAN. Gives him a bit of ventilation and cooling, I suppose. Stops the old windscreen steaming up. John Newell still ahead of David Jenkins. That bit of bodywork flapping in the breeze. The wheel arch coming loose there after a bit of contact earlier on. But it's Stuart Oliver, the man from North East England, who continues to lead the way. Ryan Smith and Mark Taylor still second and third. Smith's pulled away from Taylor by a couple of seconds now. Less than 10 minutes to go now. We're past half distance in this fourth and final race of the weekend for the BTRA British Truck Racing Championship. David Jenkins leans on Martin Gibson through the chicane. Gibson could get a run here over the curbs. He does so. Can he get ahead of David Jenkins here? There's almost contact on the way out, but it looks as though Gibson has done it. But the lead gap reducing by another second meanwhile. Oliver being chased down by Ryan Smith. Taylor still third. That's Brereton. Newell fifth. Gibson is up to sixth. David Jenkins only down in 7th place at the moment. But Ryan Smith is reeling in. Race leader Stuart Oliver. Here they are, two of the all-time greats of British truck racing. In the past, of course, we've seen the likes of the Collett family, also Richard Walker, Steve Parrish as well, the great ex-motorcycle racer. And all the other greats of British and European truck racing as well. Even Slim Borgood, the ex-ABBA drummer and Formula 1 driver, was a top truck racer in the European Championship. He's raced in the UK many times. Plenty of ladies as well, the likes of Heather Bailey, Davina Galitza, the ex-skier. Real great names of race trucks. Barry Sheen, of course, motorcycle legend, had a good go at truck racing. And having a good go here, John Newell and Martin Gibson side by side in their MANs. Sort of dips the Division 2 battle further back for third place. John Powell still ahead of Simon Cole and Willem Bredick. But the leaders coming up towards the chicane, and Ryan Smith is really catching Stuart Oliver now. Volvo against MAN for the lead. Ryan Smith late on the brakes there. He's determined to catch the number 7, the Kelsa Truck Products Volvo, also sponsored by GT Tyres. Over the curbs they go. The door still flapping on Ryan's MAN, but he won't even have noticed that. He chases Stuart Oliver. The gap is now down to 0.65 of a second as they cross the line that time through. Ryan Smith is now right on the rear axle of Stuart Oliver's Volvo. Up towards Church Corner. Smith gets the tighter line on the run out towards Woodham Hill. He's going to take the inside. This is going to be a brave move by Ryan Smith. He's going through. Great driving by Ryan Smith up the inside into Church Corner. It's not often you see overtakes in any form of racing there. That was brave by Ryan Smith, and he's through into the lead. That's why Ryan Smith is a multiple champion. Well, they're both multiple champions, these two, with some 14 truck racing titles between them. Ryan Smith taking Stuart Oliver. Didn't even wait to get him on the brakes to the chicane. He just charged through at Church Corner. Takes the lead with 6 minutes of the race to go. These two well clear of the rest. Still Mark Taylor in third place in the 81. This is going to put him into prime position for the championship. Of course, if Brands Hatch doesn't take place, if Ryan wins here and David Jenkins finishes further down the order, he's currently in 5th position, David Jenkins, that would be enough to give Ryan Smith the championship once again. He certainly hasn't had things all his own way this season, coming round to start his final lap this time. Stuart Oliver in second, a better season for Stuart, but it all depends whether Brands Hatch takes place. Of course, we don't know yet if it's going to. It remains provisional with the various public restrictions being imposed over the next few days. So if Brands Hatch takes place, it's going to be a close fight for the title. We hope it does, but if not, I think, by my calculations, this would mean that Ryan Smith would be champion, because he will move above David Jenkins if he wins this, with Jenks down in the midfield. Ryan Smith out on the back of the circuit. He's on his last lap now. He's not going to be caught by Stuart Oliver. The man from Nottinghamshire keeps his foot in the MAN. Is he surging towards another British Truck Racing Championship? Here comes Flying Ryan. Well, this could be the final race of the season, but we don't know, as we've just said. But Ryan making sure he does all he can to take a points lead. He's clear of Stuart Oliver now. There is the Volvo in second place. It's the MAN heading them up towards Woodham Hill for the final time, then into the club chicane. The checkered flag will be awaiting them. It's going to be 3 wins in a row and 6 race wins for the season for Ryan Smith so far. Into the chicane he comes. The left, the right, into the straight. Checkered flag is in sight. Number 1, Ryan Smith, makes it 3 wins for the weekend here at Thruxton. Stuart Oliver comes over in second, and they're well clear of their opposition. I think it's going to be Mark Taylor who comes home to finish in a fine 3rd place. And we'll see beyond that. We need to see where David Jenkins is going to come in as well. Meantime, here's the lead battle in Division 2. It looks as though Steve Powell has just about done enough to hang on ahead of Luke Garrett. They're behind Shane Brereton, who's almost pushing John Newell across the line there. Oh, Powell sideways, he nearly lost it there. Just hangs on to take the win ahead of Luke Garrett. That's 3 wins for the weekend for Stephen Powell. And that is close to wrapping up the Division 2 title for the number 3. But no stopping Flying Ryan. Well done, Ryan Smith. That puts him back into the lead of the points because David Jenkins came home in 5th position.
You know, I've worked my socks off and my team's worked our socks off. In qualifying, we qualified P9. We had a steering pump go. We went over the barrier at 90 mile an hour. My team, we worked. People from other team come and worked on my truck. You know what? The driver gets a lot of the credit. It's got to go to my team, every single one of them. Julia, the chef, the Birmingham boys. Alan Taylor's been a saint this weekend. Mark Taylor's given us his spare parts. And I tell you what a way to drive. I just knew, I was in the zone, and I just knew Stuart was like wow. You know what, that's probably one of the best races I've been involved in. I worked my socks off. I left nothing to chance. I was out breaking myself everywhere. And you know what, finally it's paid off.
Obviously I'm disappointed, especially if we don't get the chance to race at Brands next weekend, because you know, we've been in the title hunt, and if it's just gone that way, I think it'll be Ryan, me and Stuart by a few points either way. So if we don't get a chance to race next weekend, then it's a bit of a funny way to end the season. However, you know, we've been lucky that we've been able to race this year. It's been good. The organisers have been completely supportive. So yeah, we're happy, aren't we? Got to be happy.
Well, it was good, you know. Ryan, you know, credit to him, he was absolutely on fire, you know. And the boys said on the radio that his door was open, and I saw what would be thought was him coming, and I thought, well, you know, I didn't want to take any chances, and I was just going as fast as I could without taking any chances, and you know, he just came up on us, and you know, he just drove up the inside of us. To be fair, going round towards church, and you know, well, I couldn't get any faster, and so you know, racing's racing, but you know, finishing second's good enough. I don't know. Fingers crossed we'll be at Brands next weekend, so the championship's still alive. But who knows if we don't go to Brands next weekend? There's certainly big congratulations from my part for Ryan, because he's notched up another win, you know, another championship. So, but fantastic, you know, wet and wild weekend. But you know, there was more wild than wet in the cab, so it makes it good fun.
We've had a terrible year. Everybody's had a terrible year. You know, I'm absolutely delighted. Emotions are high. My team there have worked their socks off to get this truck. We've got no panels, got no bodywork. The door was coming open. You know, we've got no door hinge. We've worked our socks off on a small budget, and you know what? My first championship, my second, my third, my fourth. This means a lot to me.
It's I don't know what to say really. It's a sport of its own. It's madness. 1 minute you're doing well, next minute you're at the back, you're back at the front. It's exciting, but it's hard work. It really is hard work.
It's almost truck racing in a microcosm, isn't it, the way it's been at this circuit this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. And I think everybody's exhausted now. Looks like we just sit there, but it's a long weekend.
I was in my zone. I'd locked off. I knew what I had to do. Absolutely, just did my job.
And that you did, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Go and enjoy it. A brilliant final race then, and a fitting weekend that would ultimately round off the championship, with news breaking just a few days ahead of the Brands Hatch meet that it would be cancelled. The leaderboard therefore would stay as it was at the end of this meet at Thruxton. That meant another title for Ryan Smith, with Dave Jenkins agonisingly short in the end. It was a solid third for Stuart Oliver and a fantastic fourth for Martin Gibson in his breakout year. In Division 2 it was a title for Steve Powell, imperious once again. Luke Garrett ultimately left to count the cost of a tough start at Snetterton, where he had to chalk off 2 races. A truncated season, a shorter season, but for sure, no less entertaining. Well, that will just about do us here at Thruxton, and indeed for the championships. It's sad to end so prematurely, but didn't they give us a fitting finale, ladies and gents? It has been brilliant this year, and we cannot wait to do it all over again in 2021. Congratulations to the winners, and we'll do it all again sometime soon. For now though, goodbye.